Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, more things have come out regarding Foxhole TGIF and the castmates, and we definitely have to talk about it. I do have some audio for us to listen to for the people that may not have caught it, okay? We are going to only listen to the video, but shout out to House of Aaron. So if you guys want to see like the actual video versus the audio, definitely go over to House of Aaron's channel, and you'll be able to see some, if not all, of the video. Okay. And what the video consists of and the audio consists of is a leaked Zoom call. All right. There are two different ones. One of them is between Claudia, Armon, and one of the, I do believe she's an executive producer, the woman known as Joyce, who Armon did reference in his previous live that he did when he was going off about everything that he experienced at Foxhole and how Joyce was really nitpicky about different things that he did. Him having to apologize to Claudia as well as Al for things that he didn't feel that, should have he should have given an apology for. And Joyce was indeed a part of that. Okay. So we've definitely been hearing her name a lot. And it looks like this video came from Miss Claudia. She may have recorded this and, letting it be known to everybody what was really going on a bit behind the scenes. Okay. So we definitely are going to get into some of that. So just wanted to let you guys know and make sure that if you want to see the full video, you go over to House of Aaron to check it out. Also, I want to mention that once we get to Al's piece, I'm going to tap into a few of the comments over there on his channel where he hopped into the comments, didn't have a whole lot to say, but he hopped into the comments to say some things, and we'll hop over to his Instagram and see what's been going on over there just a little bit as well. Okay. But in the meantime, let us go ahead and check out Miss Claudia and see what she had to say as she's having this conversation with Joyce while Armon is also in the room.
I can't take it anymore. I cannot take this. Al called me the day after the Image Awards and said, we need to have a meeting with Joyce. And I found it weird because we don't really talk anymore. He wanted to have a meeting since I'm tired of the lies, and it has to all be on the table. And I wish Al was here. And I said, what? He calls me up and says he doesn't like the direction of the show. And at the time, I wasn't feeling it either, in full disclosure. And Armon, I told you this.
We already know this.
I told you I wasn't feeling it either. I felt like it was all this contention. It was this negative, and I felt the same way. So he's like, I want to have a meeting with Joyce, which I thought was weird that he wanted to include me because I know they have their relationship and they talk a lot. And then they're close. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll be on the meeting. In the meeting, he said he felt a few things. He felt like Justin is making the show too gay, and he wanted Destiny to have a more of a bigger role in the show and take over the topics. Did say that. Okay, so you agree with that. Then he also said, and Armon, I don't like the tone of the show, and I'm just not happy, and I don't think I can do this much longer if he's here. And I was like, wow, okay, he said that. He also said, I went out with Armon, and Armon said that him and Justin went on a date, and that he's been very heavily coached for this job, including being told to join after. That is what's being said. I'm sorry, Joyce. I'm a very honest person. I'm not good at lying, and I will tell the truth. That's what was said in the meeting. We had this meeting. We did have the meeting. He did say that. I'm not even putting that on you. That's why I find it very odd that you're rushing to his defense and saying, no, shutting it down. He said it, Joyce. I'm a very credible person, and I'm not a liar. I'm not.
I agree with every single thing.
Okay, but he did tell you that, Joyce, and I don't know why you're denying it.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
So, Joyce, you didn't tell me that he said that I am making the show heavily gay?
Yes, he did.
As a manager? That is
he did say that. He said he wanted he wanted Destiny to take over your role and to put her more in the position.
You didn't tell me this, Joyce.
Swear to God.
He didn't say that Justin was making it heavily gay.
Oh my God. Joyce.
That's what he said.
Let me walk it off.
He felt that the show was turning heavily gay. He didn't say that Justin is making the show heavily gay.
Then why would he suggest Destiny to take over?
No, he didn't say for Destiny to take over. He said maybe what Destiny can do is hold on one second.
Basically, we're saying the same thing, but you're making it more palatable. We're saying the same thing. You guys, I'm not a liar. I've never lied. I can't lie about this.
can take over doing more of the topics that as it relates to women, as it relates to relationships. That's what he said. And I said, oh, okay. Well, that's a good idea. You know.
Have you ever told Justin this?
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I told Justin the overall theme of what our conversation was. That's what
you didn't tell me that, Al, that you said the show was becoming heavily gay. This is new to me, Joyce. That's why I'm just really shocked. This was not told to me from my manager.
I just feel like, why were we not on this meeting if it was going into that much depth?
I'm not going to sit here and continue to go around.
Because they didn't think I'd ever tell you guys, because we were all kept at odds for a reason. Al has been puppeteering, keeping us all fighting against each other and not getting along, he hangs up the Zoom. He always does that. He always runs. Al does this a lot.
He doesn't do that anymore. He does not.
Oh my God, yes he does.
He has Zoom recently. The last time, unfortunately, he did was with you, and I had to speak on it because that's just not cool. We've already had that conversation before, back in the day when we had the issue with you and then everybody else. Then moving forward, we're not going to be disrespectful and hang up the Zooms on.
When does Al get checked is what I want to know. Because he's to me is the problem here. When does he get checked?
I checked Al about when he hung up on you.
His behavior, he's still doing the same thing. You said he's course corrected. He still is long-winded. He still cuts people off. He's stirring up drama. He's going back and forth between me and Armon, trying to get us at odds, having these conversations. When does he get checked and held accountable?
I'm not going to get involved with you guys telling me that Al is calling you up and saying one thing and calling Armon up and saying, I'm not checking him about that. That's not the place. That's you guys to take care of. Okay?
No problem. Noted.
I'm not going to get involved in
I get that. So that's why I'm going to talk about the call.
All right, y'all. So that's all that we have at this time. Let me tell y'all something. Joyce was over there kind of playing in the people's face just a bit. It was definitely giving to me, you ain't my friend. You is my enemy. I see my enemies when they cross me. Like, that is what Mr. Joyce was over there giving. You ain't my friend. She's not at all. She definitely was playing in Miss Claudia's face. Now, Claudia did not give us the, what was happening before then, but she made sure to play the portion where she was pretty much checking Joyce. It seems like Joyce may have been denying some things that was happening in a previous meeting, and admitting some of the faults that Al had. And then she finally admitted, like, yes, that is what he said. That is what happened. That is what he said. That is what happened. Girl, Joyce just been playing in the people's space just a bit. It's a crazy situation. Justin, it sounds like the person that Armon was referencing, hopped in, gave his 2 cents when it came down to the things that Al may have said about him, to which Joy agreed that the things were being said, except for some parts, right? Like, what was interesting, though, was when Justin hopped on the call, he didn't necessarily address the whole, he went on a date with Armon and prepped and prepared Armon for this overall meeting or to get the job or whatever, with Fox. So Justin didn't really address that, but he more so leaned into the gay portion of making the show gay. And that was his biggest concern, because he felt like that was not brought to him. Now, as for me, I don't know why Al really made that a big deal about Armon being really prepped for this show because he went on a date or whatever. I think the lines may have gotten crossed where it seems like they were trying to say that they were dating or messing around or dealing with each other, while Armon was saying that that wasn't true. But if you have connects that are working within the entertainment industry, I don't think it's an issue to say, hey, let's set up a date, whether that's 2 ladies having to sit down for a date. And it's not necessarily an actual date. It's like, hey, let's link up, let's chat. I'm open for this opportunity. What are some pointers that you can give me? I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm not really sure why that was even made a big deal. And that's really messed up, in my opinion, for Al to sit down with Armon and have this conversation and learn as much as he can about him, only to take it back and use it against him in some type of capacity. Like, I don't think that was really right. But as you can hear, Justin was upset about the whole, he's turning the show gay. And then when Claudia mentions that Destiny was supposed to take over the show based on what Al wanted, You have Joyce sitting here saying, well, he didn't really say it was Justin, but he did, say that the show was turning gay, and that, maybe Destiny could do this portion and this and that. And I'm like, but if Justin is running the show, then it is him saying, without, I guess, saying his name, that he is the one making the show gay. Okay, so I definitely agree with Claudia when she said we're saying the same thing. You're just trying to say things in a more nicer way, right? I guess she's afraid because she doesn't want Al to get on her head top as he has in the past, because that is something that ended up being leaked out. Okay, that is something as well that ended up being leaked out. But before we get into what was leaked out about Al actually going off on Miss Joyce, let's get into this really quickly, because shout out to my subby, you know who you are, that sent this over to me, Miss Beauty. Shout out to you. So these were screenshots from his page. Okay, a lot of people are wanting Al to come to the front. Everyone is talking for him, or at least telling their side. You have Claudia speaking, Armon speaking, you have Funky speaking, and then so much so you have a close friend of Al's that's been speaking. Not so much as Al, he hasn't been addressing anything. So someone gets in his comments and says, Al, you need to address some things. I want to support you, but you need to be a little more open with us. And then Al says, I have great work history and a clean track record. Meaning to him, I would think that this is the reason why he's not going to address it, because he has a great work history, a great track record. Why would I address any of that? And it's like, well, listen, there's a first time for everything, right? Just because that hasn't been your history before doesn't mean that it can't be something new. All those people that may have had a bad history, they had to start somewhere, right? So someone else says, now, Al, those receipts are receding. We love and support you, but you need to account, okay? You need to account for some things. So then he says, I don't have the reputation or work history that they have. And again, whatever history Claudia has, whatever history Armon has, they had to start from somewhere, okay? So now I feel like this is being attached to your work history, whereas you didn't have anything before, but now you do kind of have a strike on the board, depending upon who is, interested in working with you and whether or not they would use this against you, right? So that's interesting, when he said he doesn't have the work history that they have. And then next thing you know, we see this video drop, and the video is of him pretty much going off on Joyce and things that's being said about him and how he's being treated. And this is why I feel like Armon is a bit vindicated to me, because it sounds like Al may have experienced the similar things that Armon was mentioning. And what is giving is that Miss Joyce may be a piece of a micromanager. So with her being a bit of a micromanager, micro producer, whatever you would like to call it, that's really interesting, considering the fact that when you are in a call with Armon, Justin, as well as Claudia, and they're calling you out on things and they're clocking you accordingly for the things that you witnessed or heard and don't want to admit to in this moment, but is happening, then you want to throw it back on them and say, that is a y'all issue. That is a y'all issue. I'm not going to get into that. When Armon has just sat up here and said the different times that you have come to him about his behavior or how he may have made somebody feel, you're willing to address it then, when it's affecting one of the cast, the co-host, but you're not willing to step up and play your role when it comes to everybody. I think that is a bit unfair. But like I said, this audio that we're about to get into may be the reason why she doesn't go against Al anymore, because Al may have gotten in that. It's just a little bit, okay?
That there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect, Joyce, and you refuse to recognize it, and it's not fair. You say to us certain things, but then you backslide on it. You say certain things to me, and you say certain things to other people. It's quite clear you got caught twice talking about me. You got caught. And I won't even tell on this show, on this Zoom, what you've said to me offline. Okay, so we won't even talk about that.
Al, I just really quick, I want to jump in because, guys, we're on Zoom and it's still people on here and this conversation is recorded. The thing is, I just want us, we're definitely, this is, we have to resolve this, but I just kind of want this to keep this in-house, because these type of things.
Let's talk about being very unprofessional. Okay. Why would you send me that why when you say, Al, look, I apologize, I messed up, you're gonna send me, oh, let's talk about being very unprofessional, telling me I'm being unprofessional because I missent something. You missent it first. You missent it first. And then you're gonna call me unprofessional? Cut it out. And then you say to me, please pay attention to the show. Oh, I'm not paying attention to the show? Did I miss something? Did I miss when somebody called on me?
I'm not raising my voice at you.
Well, I am, because I'm upset. I'm tired of my EP not respecting how I feel. I'm tired of my EP talking shit about me. I'm tired of my EP acting like one thing in front of one group and one thing in front of another. Okay, I have a right to be upset. I asked you to please let me go. You will not let me. This is what you get.
Okay.
And I'm glad it's being recorded because I need for people to see what I'm dealing with on a regular basis with you.
You're absolutely right. That was the rule, is that Claudia is not to come back.
Why are you jumping down my throat for following your rule that you put in? And then why are you going to call me in front of my colleagues that I do too much as usual? Those were your words. You want me to scroll down and read them? You want me to scroll down and read them? You want me to scroll down and read them? I do too much on this show? I do too much choice on this show on a regular? Okay, then why would you say it? Why would you say it?
Okay, because this is what happened. Last week, you cut Claudia off when she was trying to end the show to give a shout out. You've done it at the top of the show.
I'm not the only one that cuts people off to say stuff at the end of the show, Joyce. Get out of here. Get out. Bye, Joyce. So I'm the only one that cuts anybody off on this show. I'm the only one that doesn't follow the script. I'm the only one that does impromptu stuff. Get out of here, Joyce.
Doing that, that's the thing.
Okay.
Joyce, hey guys, I think we got to table this conversation.
I'm the one that's always the problem on the show, right, Joyce?
No, I'm not saying that you're always the problem on the show, but whenever I try to talk to you about the issues that we have, each of us, all of them, I speak to each of them.
Joyce, we have so many issues on this show, sweetheart. For you to constantly nitpick me every day and call me every day telling me something that I need to work on is exhausting. And I've told you that. I said, Joyce, we have people falling off the damn internet, and you're calling me about a glow I have at the top of my freaking head. I have said that to you, but you don't understand what that means when you constantly have to criticize a talent all the time. It doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel good when I am trying my freaking best every freaking day, and you don't acknowledge it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And for you to put some shit like in that chat, you better be glad it came to me. You better be glad it came to me. And I'm glad it came. It came to me for a reason. And the reason is for me to talk to you like this right now. You have no right to call me unprofessional because you have been on a live show talking with your friends and cackling and kickling with your friends on a live YouTube show. You have never seen that come out of my camp over here. You have some nerve to tell me I'm unprofessional. I'm done.
Whew, child, you ain't my friend. You is my enemy. I see my enemies when they cross me. Listen, that was a lot. Okay, that was a lot. Al was very upset. You guys can hear him going off on one of his superiors, which happens to be Miss Joyce. Okay, that is the person that started to, go up for him and start to have his back. Okay. At some point, what is crossing my mind is me wondering whether or not Funky was aware of that, as he has said that he wasn't, aware of a lot going behind the scenes, although it does seem like, Al may have called him all the time about any drama happening at Foxhole, because I'm sure that he could relate. So I'm wondering if he was aware of that. What's interesting is, Al being upset about being criticized, and having, to be criticized about, his work or anything that he does on a daily basis. And as unfortunate as that is, it does make me think like, dang, that's messed up, because firsthand how that feels and what that is like. Yet you didn't mind making sure that Armon likely experienced the same thing by going to the very person that had you under stress, okay, that was over there micro producing you or whatever, you made sure that he endured the same thing by going to her with your own nitpicking. So not only is he worrying about the nitpickings of you, but then having to worry about the nitpickings coming from, you know, Miss Joyce, right? It's just been, girl, listen, that y'all had a lot going on. A whole lot going on. Who knew that it could be so bad behind the scenes, right? Behind the scenes. But listen, I do want to get into one last thing, okay? Over on Al's page, right? So over on his page, he did put a post up where for the Court of Public Opinion, you know, I believe that's one of his shows that he does. So he did put something up for that show, and people kind of were in the comments having some things to say, okay? Primarily his good friend, who I do believe is Devon Sean, and then he says, y'all are here because of Armon. Al doesn't care, all right? That's why he has never addressed it. But it seems like the people in the comments are still wanting him to address it. So someone says, AKA, no accountability. Someone else says, let him speak for himself. Al is good and grown, over 50 grown. You're making it worse by fighting his battles, okay? Someone says Al loves another man being a mouthpiece for him, so this is on brand, okay? The person responds, Sean says, mind you, he nor his mouthpiece are on the campaign to convince an audience of anything or to clear his name. All right. The person says, he tells the person have a brain. The person says have a brain and critical think about the common denominator. You kissing butt, hoping to get in the good rotation, the good time rotation. All right. So those were some of the things that was said. All right. Someone else says the issue is we all love that show. And it slowly started to reveal who was the issue. From everyone's story, it seems like Al was the problem. We just want to hear from him because we support that show every night. Then boom, it just blows up. And now everybody's painting him out to be a certain way. And he's allowing the narrative to continue to fly. You know, usually when people try to, you know, put the label on you as you being the problem, you're making it hard to work with, you being the one to end the show, it's because of you. You would want to speak your piece, right? Which is why Armon kind of blew up, because he was holding a lot inside, because at one point everybody was trying to say that it was Armon's fault. Now that is shifting. Okay. I still feel like everybody played a role in front of the scenes, behind the scenes, everybody, every which way. In my personal, but some people are now changing that narrative. Some people still feel like Claudia was the problem, but a lot of focus is now on Al, and he's allowing other people to shape the narrative for him. And I just, you know, in my opinion, I don't think that is a good look. I mean, over on his page, I was seeing where people in the comments were saying that they were going to be unsubscribing from him. Because they're not liking what it is that they have been seeing about his character. So I think that it would behoove him to speak out. Will he ever do it? I highly doubt it. Okay. Some people have been saying that this is his way of throwing rocks, hiding his hands, and ducking a fade. I don't know. You know, I do feel like he reserved the right to talk about what he does and does not want to. I would think that he would, but if he doesn't, that is on him. Okay. But you guys can leave your thoughts and comments down below about everything that we talked about, as far as the audio, as far as the comments that were left on his page, and him having a good track record, and then hearing, you know, this video of him going off on one of the superiors, and then also people wanting, you know, him to come out and tell his side. And you guys let me know whether or not there's no side to be told, and he could just move on as is. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. I am Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jami, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Why I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the gouda. We hitting the jeweler, the flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. First I'm out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a